In the last video, we introduced the concept of marginal utility. Now we're going to add a law to it, and that's the law of diminishing marginal utility. And in the last video, we started alluding to this law of diminishing marginal utility. What this law of diminishing marginal utility says, and first off, let's back up and look at some of the terms here. We're talking about the law of diminishing marginal. Another word for marginal is change. Another word for marginal is additional. Utility also means satisfaction. So we're looking at the law of diminishing additional satisfaction. So this law states that as consumption per unit of time increases, marginal utility decreases. Basically, as you consume more, the level of satisfaction from each additional good falls. So remember, whenever we were talking about this marginal utility, we said that as consumption is increasing, as we increase the amount of burgers that we consume, this marginal utility is actually falling. We don't get as much additional satisfaction out of each good. While yes, the total utility, total satisfaction may be continuously increasing until we get to this 11th burger, the amount of satisfaction that we get off of each additional good begins to fall. So, just like I was saying in the last one, that first burger, it tastes awesome. You're pretty hungry. You've been working all day. That very first burger, you eat it, man, it tastes so good. It's absolutely amazing. Best hamburger you've ever had. So you said, you know what, I want a second one. But you've already eaten a little bit. You've already eaten the first burger, so you're not quite as hungry. And that second burger, man, I tell you what, it still tastes pretty good, but it's just not as good as the first one. And then, but that total utility is still increasing. The amount of satisfaction you got off that second burger and the first burger is still positive. You still enjoyed that second burger, but it just wasn't as good as the first. So you just keep going. You eat that third, fourth, fifth burger, and you're going to keep eating these burgers, especially if they were free. Let's throw that in there. All these burgers are free. You're going to keep eating these hamburgers as long as you're still enjoying it. So how many of y'all have ever been somewhere where they offered free hamburgers or free hot dogs? And you go in there and you eat that first hot dog and man, it tastes so good, you go back for another one. You eat that second hot dog and it's not quite as good as the first, but man, it's still good. You're at this barbecue and it's basically all you can eat hot dogs. So you keep eating them. You keep eating them. And you get to, let's say, that 10th or 11th hot dog and you're pretty stinking full. But you go back for one more. You go back for one more, and guess what? That 11th hot dog, you didn't quite get any satisfaction off of it, but it's free. And you know what? You say, I don't know when I'm going to get another free hot dog, so you go back for that 12th one, and lo and behold, you get that stomach ache. You get sick. And you lose a couple of hot dogs, unfortunately. So you keep going until you get sick, and you get this aspect of dissatisfaction. And anytime you go past this point of where any more consumption actually yields satisfaction and you get into this dissatisfaction, your total utility actually goes down. Now what's amazing is that this law of marginal utility, law of diminishing marginal utility, can be applied to any good in your life. I want you to just stop and think about just about anything. And just about every good, if not every good in your life that you consume, and there's at some point in time when the additional satisfaction that you get off of each additional unit will begin to fall. You won't enjoy it quite as much. It's like eating a ribeye steak every single night. Now, it might sound really good for that first night and the second night and the first week, but by the second or third week of eating a ribeye steak every night, you're sitting there thinking, man, I'd sure love something else. I'd sure like a chicken fried steak. Something other than just a ribeye. Because the additional satisfaction actually starts to fall off on it. So, how does this look graphically? Because we like graphs, we like numbers. We have a table here, we can put it all into a graph. And right here, this top graph is dealing with total utility. So, what we did is we took this table, we took the number of burgers that are being consumed, and that's down here on this horizontal axis. We see it goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. And then we plugged in the total utility. So whenever we're looking at this total utility graph, we see that total utility is on this vertical axis, that it is continuously increasing all the way until we get to the 10th burger. And then it kind of creates a flat line to the 11th. Then it goes down as we go to that 12th burger. Well, if we look at our total utility is increasing as we go down until we get to that 10th burger. It remains 11th. At the 11th burger, it remains steady, and then it falls off at the 12th burger. So this top one is our total utility. Now let's look at what it looks like on the marginal utility. Again, we have quantity hamburgers down here. Here's our marginal utility. And on that second burger, from that second burger on, we're seeing that the marginal utility, that additional satisfaction, is actually falling and continues to fall. Even though total utility is going up, marginal utility is going down. Why? Well, we've said it several times, but I'm going to reiterate it one more time. The reason that total utility is going up is because as we consume more, we're still getting enjoyment out of it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be consuming. We're still enjoying that next one, that next burger, that next hot dog, whatever it is. We're still enjoying it. We just don't enjoy it as much as the one before that. It's where the additional satisfaction falls. But our overall enjoyment from eating more or from consuming more of this good. Because bear in mind, we use hamburgers and hot dogs and food as our examples a lot in this, and whenever we talk about consumer theory, because it's easier to relate to. But this can be applied to everything, whether it's talking about food, or maybe we're talking about playing a game. Maybe we are on a softball team, and that very first game that you play, it's so fun. You've been practicing with your team, and you can't wait for the very first game, and that very first game is awesome. And then and you win the very first game, so you're pumped up going in the second one, but you're a little sore going in the second one. The second one's not quite as fun. And then as time goes on, by the last game, you say, man, I'm just so glad that this softball season is over, because I am tired of playing. And that satisfaction, actually, maybe you were so tired of playing that you didn't even want to play that last game. And that satisfaction, that marginal utility off of each game began to fall. Or think about it this way. You're going into winter, and if you're in an area like Casper and it snows, and you might have been in the summer and then fall, and you might enjoy the snow, and you might be saying, I can't wait for that very first snowfall. First time you see those storms build up and the snowflakes start falling, you might get so excited that your utility just keeps going up, and then by the end of winter, you might be down here, where you're sitting there saying, another snowstorm? But that very first or that second snowstorm, you got a lot of enjoyment out of it because it was fun. You got to go outside and play in the snow. But by the last one, you're sitting there thinking, I got to drive in this again? So this law of diminishing marginal utility can be applied to any good or service or just about anything in your life. And basically what it states is, as consumption per unit of time increases, marginal utility decreases. As you consume more, the additional satisfaction you get off of each additional good will fall.